Peter Obi don't break silence, say he not get any grievance towards Tinubu or Atiku. Say those two people, in respect them like say tomorrow not day. He say, but when it comes to fixing what it already spoil, he say friendship not today like that again. Everybody needs to be focused. He say it's not all about party, but it's all about the candidates. He say if you see person will be say the Labour Party where you not like, go vote for another person. He say it's all about the personality of the person and waiting the person what can do, not the party. He said that is where we have gotten it wrong. He said waiting it be initiative, like waiting you want make the fix for Nigeria. Now to get educated, make you know waiting democracy be, make you know waiting the rule of law be. He said any country will not get the rule of law. He said that country enough fit progress, enough fit do anything. He said America, Canada, UK where they year of today. He said now the rule of law where they practice, then they make things they work, then they make police work, then they make this one work. He said but Nigeria, because rule of law not the person where be say if the presidency go feel say man if he control his own party. He said nobody can be bigger than party. He said never. He said this is the problem. This is where we are getting it really wrong. He says it's high time you, me, everybody fix Nigeria. He said more common sentiment. He said now is the time we be say we'll bring fresh brain come out. Not be say man we be say don't already day 70 something, 60 something. Say make you not say the life expectancy for abroad and Nigeria not be the same. More life expectancy for Nigeria is about 50 something years. So once you don't reach like 70 something, 80 something, you are not functioning in a better way again, because according to the life expectancy for Nigeria, if we don't reach 60 something, 70 something, not get that mental capacity again to reason waiting one carry people along. Now all this one now they talk for this video. And for our brother Wike, he saying a 40-year-old whiskey now he pop. Hey, oh God, I bet on a Bod Tv. But don't forget to subscribe and like, share and comment on our video. Thank you so much. Bye.
Continued and consistent promises of the chairman of INEC that this is going to be the best thing that has ever happened to Nigeria and everything. And you could see it. However, my appeal to Nigerians is to remain, to my obedient family, to Nigerians is to remain calm, remain prayerful for our country, Nigeria. We have no other country except this one. And we will go through all legal, peaceful means to bring a new Nigeria, where everybody will be happy and proud to say, I'm a Nigerian. Well, you know, I'm very respectful to prominent Nigerians, especially church leaders, traditional rulers, and all that. And I remain very respectful to them. And I think they should be respected for what they represent in our society. But I disagree with them. What they're actually preaching is the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria is accepting wrongdoing, accepting what is unacceptable. That is using God's name in vain. That's not what God said. God said, do not use my name in vain. So what they're saying is not God's wish. It is not God's plan for Nigeria. So why don't we accept that the 133 million Nigerians who are poor is God's wish? Why don't we accept that 95 million Nigerians living in absolute poverty is God's wish? It is God's wish that you don't have electricity. It is God's wish that our children are kidnapped. It is God's wish that we have collapsed primary health care, leading us to be the country with the highest infant mortality. It is everything happening is God's way. Not so what God says. No. God's wish is when you do the right thing. And in the end, it is not. This election was predicated and planned. And we have clear laws about the conduct of the election. If it was followed, if these results were uploaded from the booth, polling unit, like they said, to the server and everything, we won't be here, we won't be talking about it. It would have been concluded in a matter of hours without anybody arguing about it. But it is not God's wish that you do the wrong thing. It is not God's wish that you go and rob a train and make money and start sharing it. It is not God's wish. This is what is killing the country. People come here, take public money, and then go and give it to people in the church and treasure, and they say it's God's wish, and start giving them title in the church, title in this. That is what we are fighting. That's what we want to stop. We want God's wish to be truly God's wish. And that is when we do the right things and God gives his blessing. What we are doing now is why they call. What do you tell the young ones growing up? That it's God's wish that you steal? That it's God's wish that you conduct a wrong election? So tell me the difference between those of us who are doing this and the armed robbers. What is the difference between us and the trained robbers? Let's be sincere with ourselves. That's why it's God's wish that somebody came to your station and said he knows a governor who have 22 billion naira stacked, and nobody's asking about him. But we are stopping young people who are carrying computer and questioning them and calling them names. That's not God's wish. God wishes something better. What I want is God to allow us to do the right things so we can start building a better country for our children. Well, you know, INEC is a public institution sustained by taxpayers' money, including you and me. And I believe there's law about public institutions. You know, if there's anything, they should be open because they conducted an election. Is that everywhere? If you do something and people are not satisfied, it's for you to open up yourself. This is not the first time I'm going to court with INEC. And since 2003, I've actually, I would say several times, I've had to challenge INEC results. Remember that I'm the first governor in this country to come through the process of court by being in court for 3 years. Throughout the 3 years, I was in court with INEC giving me access to whatever materials they used to conduct the election. You've conducted the election, Rufai. You've announced or declared the winner. I'm only asking, can I have access to the documents and materials you used to arrive at that? I'm not asking you to change what you said. And remember, like I also say people, I'm not challenging their declaration. Sorry, I'm not challenging who they declared. I'm not challenging whatever the outcome. I'm challenging the process which they arrived at their declaration. And unless we do that, we're not going to stop the rascality we witnessed in that election. The process through which people come into office is, for me, I said it everywhere, is far more fundamental than what they do thereafter. There's a process of doing things. There's a process of arriving at any destination. If, like I said in my press conference, if you're going to answer His Excellency, the process of coming to that position must be excellent. If you're going to be a bishop, there's a process of being a bishop. Dr. Ruben is a doctor. Why didn't you call me a doctor? Don't that look like a doctor? You called him a doctor because he went and read PhD. Rufai might be awarded a doctor by university. So he's a doctor. But you can't just go on the street and say you're a doctor when you're not. So there must be a process, because even if it's going to be awarded, you must have done something that merited you to be awarded that. Or you must have, like Ruben, went and read PhD. Otherwise, we're all doctors. So a process is important. We'll go back to the court and said, what you granted, these people are not obeying. We're not going to be, for me, we'll do whatever is necessary within the law. Whatever we're going to do will be for the interest of the country. But they will give us access because they pronounce and declare somebody. So we must have access to the process they arrived at. That is that I contested the election. I wasn't contesting it to help anybody to win. And I continue to say that even the declared winner did not win. You might have been declared by whatever means, but you've not won the election. Reuben, to win is to win the people. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. That means if you must win the people. But if you don't win the people, you've not won. And I can tell you, the last election, the declared person did not win. However, that is what we're challenging. The rascality is what we're challenging. On the various comments, let me use the issue of Reno or mockery. Ordinarily, I won't comment on anything because I only comment on or reply fellow presidential candidates, not their spokesperson, because they're not contesting. But since something that I have never participated or been part of was mentioned, I need to reply it. Reuben, I have never, and I will never, ask anybody to add one vote for me that doesn't rightfully belong to me. I've never paid anybody to rig election for me. Go all over Nigeria and ask anybody in INEC, the so-called EOs, resident commissioners, everybody, whether any of them have met Peter Obi saying do this. Go and ask police, army, anybody. Never. They are referees. It is their job to do their job. I've never. This show where I got 97% is in Anambra State. Reno Mokri forgot that in 2019, go and check the records, where PDP had the highest vote was in Anambra State. When in 2019, when I was vice presidential candidate to Atiku, our vote in Anambra State was 95 point something, almost 96%. That's where PDP got the highest vote, because I was on that ballot. And they know me. Reuben, I live in Onitsha. If you want to know whether I get 95% in Anambra State, come and go to Anambra State with me. I don't need police. When I come out, you see the reaction of the people. In fact, I'm actually surprised I didn't get 100%. I'm telling you, because I don't know who will be voting against me in Anambra State. In the Southeast, it's a similar situation. People know me. People know what I stand for. People know I've kept to my promises. People know I've kept to what I've said. It's a simple thing. It's like people go about and say, oh, he got votes in Lagos because of the Igbos. Remember how many Igbos live in Lagos? I got more votes from the indigenous in Lagos than those who are, you can call visitors. Are the Igbos in Nasarawa? Are the Igbos in Plateau? Are the Igbos in Abuja? In Rivers, where you know that the governor came out against me, is everything. I said, if the real vote of Rivers were counted, Reuben, I won. I have over 50-something% of the vote. The other two parties were sharing the order. And it was, I won in Asoro. It was so, will you say it's rigging? Which machinery do I have to rig? I have no councillor, I have no local government chairman, no this thing. I'm not in control of police. I don't even know any DPO. So which machinery will I use to rig? How will you do? They are the ones who I believe in this. What they are doing is what I'm trying to change. So those who say you have satisfied what I came for are part of the people we are trying to change. Well, let me start with the obedient movement. You know, because Nigerian politics have been largely transactional. When we were starting this, people didn't believe what we were trying to do. The consequence is that we didn't have candidates for governorship in most of the states. Because being a transitional thing, people who like to be where things are being shared. So nobody believes that a party without councillor, local government chairman, can come up and become something. So we didn't have, in most places, candidates. In few places, we were able to have candidates, some of which we have mentioned now, who are, I can say, are first-class candidates. You just mentioned two of them, and I believe and I support them that they should be supported by the obedient family and the people, because they will do good work. You know, if you take Charvi here, young man, excellent background, good education, you can have better than somebody who have a degree in MIT. You know, so these are the quality. In some places, we're going to work with some good candidates, because there's some places where we don't have, if you look at my southeast, we only have candidates in 2 states. You know, we don't have in Ebonyi. And some other places, in the north, we have in Plateau, we don't have in Zamfara. You know, so there's places, there's a few of them, and we're urging people to support. And where we're going to have partnership, like if you go to like Cross River State, you know, where we have someone like Professor Sandy Ono, the senator, running under PDP, which we are considered an excellent candidate. So we support them. For me, it is about having competent, credible people who have proven integrity and track record that can do well. It's not just about saying, oh, it must be Labour Party always. No. Where we think we have good people, we support them. And I'm supporting them. Where we think we have somebody better. And the same thing is what I preach to people. Don't say, oh, because this is... With time, we will build this institution and ensure that everything we are doing is the right thing. But it's not going to be overnight. So for me, I want people to, in states where we have good candidates, we're going to support them. We're going to make sure it works. And where we don't, we'll be honest to the people. Because this, what we're trying to do is to build a new politics that will thrive on character, competence, capacity, and compassion, and telling people the truth always. That's why I got 95%, 97% in Anambra State, because everything I said, I did. Where is impossible, I told the people the truth, not telling them lies. Accounted for their money. When I said the BIVA should be basic values acceptable to society, what makes a society is values. The values they accept, the values they tolerate, the values, just like you said now that priests and bishops or this said, it's God's wish. How could God wish that people are poor? So how could God wish that Nigeria is in darkness? Okay. No, it is not God's wish. First, that I've always said that the APC presidential candidate is an elder brother. I can even call him a father. And I have all respect for him and everything. I've not been opportune to speak with him. You know, I don't have any issue with him. I respect him, and I'll continue to do so. I'm only challenging the process in which he was declared winner. Because that process is wrong. And that process must be corrected. I believe that The things must be done rightly. We must follow the law, rule of law. We must have a society where things are done in a decent, organized manner. Especially as we're trying to build this new nation that will be exemplary and the world will take us serious and respect us. Number two is that what you see as ethnic strife is just people trying to hide under what does not exist to cause confusion. There's no such. The vote that got in Lagos, I said it earlier, without knowing you were going to ask it, got across everybody in Lagos from the, call it Yorubas, Igbos, Hausas, Jijons, any of the tribes that reside in Lagos voted for me. I can tell you that I have a lot of people who I know have truly Yoruba, who are actually supporting me 24 hours. And it shouldn't be. In 2003, Obasanjo got over 90% of the votes in the entire Southeast. That's why the fact that our own revered leader, Ojukwu, was contesting. Nobody shouted at anybody. Nobody said, I won't do business with the Yorubas or with the Northerners or with anybody. He failed in the Yoruba land. But we gave him more votes in the Southeast, even when our own revered leader was contesting. Nobody quarreled with it. We have Yoruba people who live in the East. Don't think that it's only here. I can tell you in Onitsha, where I live, two prominent people that I deal with are completely from the Southwest. And they were there. Nobody had asked them. There were people doing their business who have democratic right to vote whoever they want. And I can go back to history. In 2011, we voted for Jonathan. He got more votes in the Southeast than he got in South-South. When Abiola contested the election, he had more votes in the Southeast. Even when his vice presidential candidate is Muslim from Kanu, and I don't know where King Ibe came again, maybe from the north. When Tofa had an Igbo man as vice presidential candidate, a respected Igbo man, yet Abiola won. And when that election was annulled, go and check the principal and people who actually lost more in Nedeko. It is the Igbos. We lost more in Nedeko. It is the Rafobias of this whose business were ruined. Go and check it. So when people bring what is not there, so who are those who voted for me in Abuja? Were the Igbos. Nobody got 25% in Abuja among the two parties. Is it the Igbos who voted for me in Jos, in Plateau? Is it the ones in Nasarawa? Is it the Igbos in occupying Nasarawa? The governor of Nasarawa said I won't get 10% of the votes in Nasarawa. The governor of Kaduna said I won't get 2,000 in Nasarawa. In Kaduna, I got 300,000. So let us not, at 300,000 Igbos in Kaduna. So where does this start? It's just people, I'm appealing to people for the interest of Nigeria. Today, we have a Pakistani as mayor of London, an Indian as prime minister. And they are doing far better than we're doing. In this place that is not even working, we're still trying to divide ourselves based on, and that's what we're trying to remove. It is this rascality It is this structure we're trying to remove that brings this hatred, which we must remove in this system, so that the system can work. When people can no longer compete based on character, competence, compassion, and capacity, they resort to ethnic, religious, and be shouting, oh, Peter campaign on religion, oh, Peter campaign on... But they are the ones doing it. I've never in any way told anybody in any church, in any gathering, vote for me based on this. I've said it, do not vote for Peter Obi based because of this part that is from the Southeast. People voted for me on issue of somebody being young and old. It's laughable. It's actually, we should actually stop people from being old and contest. If I have my way, if we can retire our bishops at 70, retire our professors at 70, Supreme Court at 70, it's time we put age for this our politics so that people can also retire. Because there's a reason why we say at 70, 75, people should go and rest. So let us, is these people that are saying it that are bringing confusion? Age of 40 is age where people are becoming or became president in America, the world's biggest economy, 25 trillion. And you're just 400 billion. And you're talking about age. That is the right age, the right background, the right education. Because you have a situation where you cannot even imagine. You know, INEC is an institution backed by law. The court have given an order, a ruling. They are not obeying it. Where do we start to build a nation? The most important ingredients of what makes a nation is the rule of law. And I've said it when I was campaigning, that we must govern by rule of law. Ruben, the biggest contributor to the Western economy today, in terms of GDP, in terms of their growth, is intangible assets called rule of law. The reason why people want to live in America, in Britain, in anything, is not because things that happen here don't happen, but because if it happens, you can seek redress in court and it will be obeyed. Considering how bad things are economically, what the world expected of us in 2023, there was so much expectation, is to have free, fair, and credible election where the new government will come to start. When you talk about low, people say low-hanging fruit. The number one low-hanging fruit here is to start governing by rule of law. If you start it, you start changing this country. Let me clarify to you now. The obedient movement are not necessarily labor members. You have to know that. There's so many people in the obedient movement who have nothing to do with Labour Party. There's so many groups within that. There's so many people. Someone like Aisha Yusuf is not a member of Labour Party. And it says so. And however, we even have what we call the big tent, which is where everybody is gathered. I have people who are supporting me today as a presidential candidate who have nothing to do with Labour Party. People like Atiku Peter Side, for example. And I have many people of that said they believe that I can do this job. And I'm sure there's so many of them in Arise who are not members of Labour Party, but they believe in what I'm doing. So they have right to also choose who they want to support. Based on what I said, it's a choice. But as a Labour Party, which I'm a member, and again the party is far more supreme than any individual. I'm just a member of Labour Party. There's no partnership between Labour Party and the PDP. Both of us are challenging a process that is wrong. That is acceptable. The process is wrong, and we're challenging it because we're all participants. It's like there's several people are involved in a competition, and it goes wrong, and they come together and say, it happened. There's so many court challenges all over the world where maybe if you see the abroad where somebody have raped one woman, he went to court, several others who were raped by the same man comes out. They're not acting jointly, but because they have been a victim of the same man.
But both of you are saying you won the election.
No.
Elijah Atiku is saying you won the election. You two are saying you won the election.
No problem. That is why we want to check the process. It is not the process that will say who actually rightly received the highest number of rightful votes cast in the said election. Because what is important is who received the highest number of rightful votes cast in the election and who has the spread. So if we do the right things, this what we are claiming now is because of the confusion that was deliberately created by INEC. If they had done the right things, we won't be here. Nobody will be arguing. Like I said, I have my respect for Atiku. My respect for him remains as long as I live. He's a respected elder brother.
You've been speaking to him?
Of course.
As regards this election?
No, not as regards the election, but any other issue. We have always remained close. He's my respected elder brother. On issue of Nigeria, we are two different candidates. I'm committed to a new Nigeria, committed to doing things differently. And my commitment is total. But my commitment does not in any way affect my respect for him or Tinubu. I will remain respectful to them.
The hero of this election, whether you like him or not like him, is Obi. The hero of this election is who? Obi. Listen. I'm not saying it. Hold on. I'm not saying it to make you happy. Listen, are you hear me? I'm not saying it to make you happy. I'm saying the truth and nothing but the truth. He may not have been pronounced as the winner, no problem. The law will take its course. If Obi did not run this election, the power wouldn't have come to the south. I can tell you the truth. Whether he wins tomorrow or not is immaterial. But history will be on his side. That he fought and fought. What is in us is greater than what is in them. As a protesting, I just heard that I took 140 years whiskey. I called some of my friends. I said, "Where's she done? What has she done? Oh, 40 years." And then I put television. See how you're watching. All you are saying. They have become a labor union. They have become a students' union. All we are saying. Chai. You are saying what? What I say? You have taken over the role of students' union. And Luther continue. That is what the party has called. And Luther continue. When the plot finish, come down and implement it here. Not be to talk there. Come.